Imagine the thought of earning almost £500,000 every week. That is the reality for some players at the very top of the game. But some players deserve that money more than others. If you're scoring goals every week and winning titles, you might deserve the £200,000 per week. But many footballers simply aren't doing enough to earn millions and millions every season. And today, we'll tell you about the 7 most overpaid Premier League players of 2021. 7. Nicolas Pepe. Arsenal broke their transfer record when they signed Nicolas Pepe from Lille in 2019. The Ivorian was considered the next big thing at the time. He joined the Gunners in a deal worth £72 million with wages of £140,000 a week. But Pepe has done little to justify his wages so far. He's not a starter and he rarely impacts games when he comes onto the pitch. Pepe has scored only 16 goals in 76 appearances for Arsenal. That's pretty bad for an attacking player who makes £140,000 a week. Pepe is a good player, make no mistake about it. He still has all the attributes to become a top player, but talent and skill aren't enough. Discipline matters a lot. Pepe has often been criticized by fans and pundits continuously since he joined the North London club for failing to make an impact in big games. He has shown some glimpses here and there, but mostly he has been inconsistent and failed to replicate the form he reached in Lille. On the other hand, Bukayo Saka has turned up for Arsenal time and again, and he has carved out his place in the starting 11. Saka and Smith Rowe has become important players of the squad, but Bukayo earns £30,000 per week, which is nothing compared to Pepe's wages. He has also become a key part of Gareth Southgate's England side. Arsenal should tie him down to a new and improved contract, or else bigger clubs might snatch him up like bald-headed eagles preying on salmons. 6. Donny Van De Beek. When Nicolas Pepe got numerous chances to prove himself, Donny Van De Beek didn't get any under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign. The Dutchman was signed by Manchester United in 2020 for a decent €39 million. Donny Van De Beek signed a 5-year contract and he earned £120,000 per week. The centre midfielder boldly chose to abandon the comforts of Ajax last season in search of extended glory, which is totally respectable. But most of us are looking for a next step in life, and he did too. However, Van De Beek couldn't write his destiny the way he wanted because he barely featured for United in his debut season. Since joining the Red Devils, the Ajax graduate saw his market value fall from €44 million to €25 million. His arrival was supposed to ease up some pressure on talisman Bruno Fernandes. Instead, the innovative creator proved to be undroppable last season, and Manchester United ended up paying Van De Beek £6.2 million to warm up the bench. This season was no different. The Dutchman was frustrated and his self-respect took a beating because he didn't get enough game time to fly high at the Theatre of Dreams. His frustration reached the breaking point and he went on loan to Everton. But now it appears that he could be back at Old Trafford because Manchester United recently appointed Erik ten Hag as their new manager. 5. Juan Mata. Unlike Van De Beek, the Spanish veteran is writing the last chapters of his career and his time at United could come to an end. Mata is 33 now and he has been with the club since 2014. His current contract is set to expire towards the end of the ongoing season, which could free up £160,000 for Manchester United on a weekly basis. Mata was a revelation at Chelsea. He joined the Red Devils for €44.73 million and instantly won over the fans' approval. However, the World Cup winner has been reduced to a mere squad member in recent years. He has become a victim of his own versatility by playing in various attacking positions to boost the team's performance, but lack of pace and athleticism hampers his game. That is why the creative midfielder has seen his career stagnant on the bench. Mata made just 9 Premier League appearances last season, yet Manchester United continued to overpay him without giving him a final call on his future. 4. Kepa Arrizabalaga. When Thibaut Courtois finally got his wish and secured a move to Real Madrid, Chelsea began their search for a world-class goalkeeper who could replicate the Belgians' heroics before the sticks. They paid the big bucks but ended up with a flawed product. I mean, where do we start with Kepa? He's an anxious goalkeeper who is awfully prone to errors and he doesn't have a great attitude either. The Spaniard was signed for £71.6 million and he earns around £155,000 per week, which is around £8 million per annum. It is shocking because he earns more than his Chelsea teammates Cesar Azpilicueta and Jorginho. It is absurd to think that Premier League's second highest paid goalkeeper isn't even a number 1 right now. Even Liverpool's Alisson Becker and Spurs keeper Hugo Lloris get paid less than Kepa. And this is absurd because Alisson is arguably the best keeper in the world. This piece of terrible business shows that Kepa Arrizabalaga is well and truly Chelsea's biggest flop in their recent transfer history. 3. Timo Werner. We have another Chelsea flop on our hands. Timo Werner's blunders in front of the goal are well documented and highly trolled. The German international was bought from RB Leipzig in 2020 for £47.5 million. He was expected to be a prolific goal scorer for Chelsea like he was in the Bundesliga. However, he has been anything but that bad during his time at Stamford Bridge. He went several matches without finding the back of the net last season, but Werner still makes £272,000 per week and over £14 million annually. The only Chelsea player who pockets more cash than Romelu Lukaku and N'Golo Kante, and both are better players than him right now. Werner's wages are outlandish. For context, the defensive trio of Antonio Rudiger, Thiago Silva and Reece James combined is £263,000 per week. That is still £9,000 less than Timo Werner's weekly wages. The German has been a side character in the Premier League this season because Thomas Tuchel prefers Romelu Lukaku up top. Chelsea's starman Mason Mount has carried Chelsea through rough patches since his integration into the team, but it's still one of the lowest earners at only £88,000 per week. Remember Kai Havertz's Champions League goal in the final against Manchester City? Well, that was assisted by Mason Mount. The guy has literally stepped up when his club needed him the most. Mason is a top goal scorer and also has the lead in terms of assists this season. On the flip side, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Christian Pulisic are non-regulars, but they earn more than Mount. The Chelsea midfielder played more minutes than anyone last season. Even Frank Lampard used to earn more 20 years ago than Mason's current wages. That is absolutely ridiculous. Luckily, Chelsea are ready to pay the big bucks and are working on a new contract for their homeboy, so everything looks good in the hood. 2. Willian. Brazilians don't age like Italians, that's a known fact. At least Chelsea knew it. We all have seen the latter stages of Ronaldo Nazario and Ronaldinho's career. Staying fit was out of the question. In Willian's case, he left Stamford Bridge because Chelsea didn't hand him a 3-year deal and he got that at Arsenal. Some fans thought that he would bring much needed experience to the Arsenal attack and possibly make them a top 4 side again, but all he brought to the team was injuries and a flabby stomach. Willian earned a weekly wage of £220,000 to play for Arsenal. He got an overall bigger weekly package than what he earned at Chelsea, which included other bonuses like image rights and signing on fees. This was another joke signing by Arsenal, and that made almost no football sense and even less financial sense. Fortunately for the North Londoners, Willian tore up his Arsenal contract and signed for a Brazilian club, Corinthians, because he didn't get enough game time or respect from Mikel Arteta. Willian's decision saved Arsenal around £20 million in wages and took a 70% wage cut in order to return to Brazil. 1. Tanguy Ndombele. Tanguy Ndombele gets the top spot today, which is ironic because he played for Spurs. As the most expensive transfer in the club's history, Ndombele should have been Tottenham's solution rather than one of its problems. When he arrived, Tottenham fans had high hopes for the Frenchman in 2019. He was signed for £55 million from Lyon, and boy has he flattered to deceive. Ndombele has made 91 appearances for Spurs in all competition, but he has only managed to score 10 goals. Ndombele was the joint highest earner with Harry Kane at the North London club, taking home £200k a week. He earned more than Heung-min Son, who has carried Spurs on his back for multiple seasons. Ndombele also bagged more stacks of cash than fellow Premier League midfielders Bruno Fernandes, Fabinho, and Bernardo Silva. He is nowhere as good as those players. During his time at Tottenham, Ndombele has worked under Mauricio Pochettino, Jose Mourinho, Ryan Mason, Nuno Espirito Santo, and Antonio Conte. That's 5 managers, and somehow the highest earners still couldn't break into any manager's first team. After Antonio Conte's appointment in January, Ndombele became bench fodder more often than not. The Italian mastermind clearly preferred Hogberg, Harry Winks, and Oliver Skip. And for a club that is known for its tight wage structure, £10.4 million per year for a player who doesn't even feature regularly is over the top. No wonder why Ndombele was sent back to Lyon on loan until the end of the current season. So yeah, there you have it. These were 7 most overpaid players in Premier League in 2021. And if you like this video, make sure to watch how good is Lionel Messi's son actually. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and I will catch you in the next one.